expected that the Fed will announce a modest quarter-point cut in its benchmark rate when they meet in mid-September. All 11 sectors in the S&P 500 finished higher, with tech leading the charge. Banks, home builders, small cap, and chip stocks also rose on Powell's rate cut comments. The Dow up 462 points, the Nasdaq higher by 258, S&P 500 up 45. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
I'm Emily Campagno. This month, the Fox True Crime Podcast presents Crimes on Campus.
More pledges, more money, more colleges, until it was a multi-million-dollar drug network.
You'll be joining me on college and university campuses all across the country as I share chilling stories of scandal, corruption, and murder.
Brutalized 5 students over 3 nights.
New episodes available every Tuesday this month. Listen and follow at foxtruecrime.com.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and don't have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney. Call 800-815-5033. 800-815-5033. Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you don't pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call if you've been injured in an auto accident. Call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation. Call 800-815-5033. 800-815-5033. 800-815-5033.
Auto Accident Help Desk.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Isaac Lowenkron.
Fresh NFL news on this Sunday morning as NFL media reports that the Jacksonville Jaguars have released receiver Denzel Mims, while ESPN reports the Los Angeles Rams have granted starting linebacker Ernest Jones permission to seek a trade. Jones was the Rams' leading tackler last season. This is the final year of his contract. In Major League Baseball Saturday night, the Tampa Bay Rays defeated the Los Angeles Dodgers in 10 innings, 9-8. Tampa Bay's Junior Caminero, the game-tying home run in the top of the 9th inning, and then Jose Caballero hit the game-winning home run in the top of the 10th inning. Shohei Ohtani, his 41st home run in a losing cause for the Dodgers. And Francisco Lindor of the New York Mets homered from both sides of the plate, including a grand slam. He finished with 5 RBI in the Mets' 7-1 triumph at San Diego.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 68 overnight tonight. Monday's high will be in the lower 100s, light rain likely. Temperatures in the mid-100s forecast on Tuesday. Currently in Troy it's 80. In Wentzville it's 81 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Well, good Sunday morning. It is time for Uncensored Wrestling Talk right here on News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO, in the brand new Gateway Fiber Studios. Of course, you can see and watch and join in on the conversations and with your questions and comments on the KYRO Facebook page, the Traveling East Productions Facebook page, and YouTube. Go like and subscribe. And then also, of course, on the Uncensored Wrestling Talk Facebook page. The video broadcast of the show brought to you by Traveling East Productions, sponsored by Elliott Flooring, Safe Harbor Insurance, Black Flag Outfitters. Go check those guys out on Facebook as well. And, of course, our main sponsor for our show, World League Wrestling, the house that Harley Race built. We thank and love them so much, it's not even funny. And today in studio with us, we have none other than referee HD Daniels. Good morning, HD. How
Good
are
morning,
you?
the one and only.
The one and only.
Thank
the
you.
one and only. Now, normally what we do is we usually have the interview to start off the show. And then if there's time afterwards, then we jump into the stuff that's going on in the world of professional wrestling. But we're going to mix it up a little bit today. And we've already had this discussion before we came on the air. And the reason being is because today, All Elite Wrestling is having their, I guess you could call it their WrestleMania today, which is All In over in London, England.
Yeah, it's going to be a great event. Several good matches, I think, already, especially with the World Championship between Bryan Danielson and Swerve Strickland. I think is going to be one of the better matches.
That should be the match that takes the cake, honestly.
You know, right now Bryan has a twinge neck, and he's got to try to work his way through it, and hopefully he can take the belt from Swerve.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're going to get into predictions and talk a little bit about some of these matches going on. And actually, we'd love for you to chime in as well and tell us your thoughts on some of these matches, because some of these are going to be really, really good ones. I think. One of the things that we talked about on this show many times is AEW has a bit, I don't want to say problem, but they have an issue of getting storylines to stick and to continue with storylines when they should be, and then going way too long and overboard with other things. But today we have a match that I want to start off with that I think personally has been their best storyline that they have done in several years, in fact, and that would be for the AEW Women's Championship. It'll be Timeless Toni Storm taking on the Glamour Mariah May. And I think you'd be hard-pressed to say if there's another storyline in AEW that's been better than the Timeless Toni Storm one.
Yeah, I don't think so. Wednesday, they had a vignette kind of going over the history of how the two got together, and it was really, I thought, well done. Well done on the production side, kind of showing Mariah May coming in, just wanted to be a fan of Toni Storm, and then turn around, Toni taking her underneath her wings there and showing her the ropes, and all of a sudden she goes out and wins the women's Owen Hart tournament, and now she's got a shot.
Yep. So HD, when you see storylines going on,
yeah,
what's some of the things that you look for that makes it a good storyline to you?
What I really like about the Toni Storm and Mariah May storyline, for example, is Toni's the champion, right? But she, I feel like, is the chaser right now. She's chasing to get revenge on her friend and to establish her credibility still as the champion. So, Mariah May, this is her first title shot, but I want her to lose. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you want Toni to win to get her revenge.
Absolutely.
So I look for unpredictability because, watching, I don't know how long, 25 years or more is what I've been watching wrestling. And it's just like, can we have something different now? And this feels different. It feels like a different story.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he just made me feel really, really old.
We won't talk about it.
25 years. I'm going to do it. I'll do it. So I personally am 53 years old now.
Okay.
And I've been watching wrestling since I was 5 years old. So you do the math. You do the math.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in this match, you want to see Toni Storm win that match.
You do.
But who are you predicting is going to actually win this match?
They're both from, I don't want to get it completely wrong, but they're both overseas, right? They're both from England. So the hometown hero still will win one way or another.
Right.
And
right.
The AEW crowd doesn't always care about baby face or heel. They care about they're more of a reactionary type crowd. So even if a heel wins a big match, they're still cheer because they're happy that something happened.
Mm-hmm.
I still think Tony's going to win.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like it.
To me, it's Mariah May.
That's fine.
The younger generation, everybody, Tony's still probably more in the prime of her career, but I really think that it's time to always keep bringing up the young people. And if it means heel being the champion, there's enough face females, I think, to weather a heel champion.
I'm kind of in the same boat as HD here. I think Toni Storm wins this and continues her championship reign, and I think that somewhere down the line, very soon, honestly, you're probably gonna get a Mercedes Moné versus Toni Storm for all the women's championships.
Yeah, I could see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So another match, sticking in the ladies division, and somebody who I just mentioned, Mercedes Moné, will defend that AEW TBS championship, and of course she's going to have Camille in her corner, and she's taking on DMD, Britt Baker.
Well, I'll start on this one. I think Dr. Britt Baker is going to beat Mercedes Moné for one reason. Jamie Hayter.
Oh.
I think Jamie Hayter's going to make a surprise appearance and makes a save against Camille, and then now you got a nice little tag team that you could run for a few weeks.
Okay, I can dig that.
So with that being said, if DMD wins, Mercedes loses her title, what's her next step? It would be the women's title, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes is a heel, correct?
Right.
So wouldn't Mercedes want to face a babyface for her title, which would be Tony, right?
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
If I don't know. I like to think things logically, but could be wrong.
But
so Superfan, you're going with DMD.
Right.
HD, who are you going with?
I'm thinking Mercedes will still win. I feel like her run is still fresh. So losing now would kill her momentum.
See, that's what I'm thinking as well. Plus, you have to remember that, while Jamie Hayter may make her resurgence back into AEW, coming back from that long injury and whatnot, you still have Camille to deal with, and she is one heck of a brick house.
Right, but how about Hayter versus Camille?
Do you need a title for that?
No,
absolutely not. So I think somehow, some way, Camille does interfere in this match, and it's going to cost DMD that championship, and Moné's going to retain. And like I said, somewhere down the line, maybe 3 months, maybe 5 months, something in that time frame, we're going to see Mercedes Moné against Toni Storm. I mean, it's inevitable,
right?
I would think.
I would think Mercedes versus the women's champion is inevitable regardless.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that would have been her first rivalry, considering her name, but...
Yeah. Now, on the Facebook page, Frank Portal saying hello and good morning. Well, good morning back to you, as well as C.T. Harrison saying good morning. Join us this morning on the Facebook pages, Traveling East Productions Facebook page and YouTube channel. Go like and subscribe. The KYRO Facebook page, and of course the Uncensored Wrestling Talk Facebook page as well. Again, join us and jump in with your questions and comments on everything that we're talking about this morning. So, another match that I find quite interesting that they're doing it this way, and it is, and we've talked about this before, the concept of this, and I still stick by it. So the Trios Championships on AEW, they had just combined those crazy titles with the Ring of Honor 6-man championships, and then not even 2 months later, they rip them apart again. What was the point of doing that in the first place? But I'm digressing. This one is going to be for the AEW Trios Championships, and it'll be the Patriarchy, which is, of course, Christian Cage, Kill Switch, Luchasaurus, whatever you want to call him, the big beast. Nick Cage as well with them against the Bang Bang Gang, the Gun Brothers, and Juice Robinson, taking on the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody. Whoo, that guy's a beast in himself, and of course Buddy Matthews. And then we just found out last night. It's going to be Pac, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta thrown in there as well. What do you guys think? Who's gonna take these trio championships after the match is over with?
I feel like the Patriarchy will retain. I feel like Christian is still on a really good run.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like it's his time to lose.
Yeah, I agree. I think the thing about Christian, I mean, he said he's getting these belts so he could get back to the World Championship. So for them to take it off, he hasn't told the story to get back to the World Championship. So they're going to retain some way, somehow. Personally, I'd like to see House of Black win, but I think the Patriarchy is going to retain.
Watching that match last night with Pac, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta, you know, of course, the latter of those three being a part of the Blackpool Combat Club, BCC. I can see at some point very, very soon Pac joining in the BCC because he's just got that attitude for it. I'm going to go with the Patriarchy as well, but I will not be surprised, though, if Pac, CC, and Wheeler get that championship win. They were very strong together last night against Top Flight.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, Pac, he's probably missing Death Triangle, but as we all know, there's probably the Lucha Brothers. There's a little bit of skirmish going on about the contracts and whether or not they're actually going to stay with AEW or jump ship to WWE. Yeah. So if Pac's looking for another group to get with, absolutely. I think he'd fit right into the BCC.
And sometimes you can't wait around for contract stuff to be completed and stuff, because if you do, you might miss the boat.
Yeah, I mean, but overall, it should be a really good match. It should be a fun match. Be interesting to see how it just plays out.
This is the ladder match, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the ladder match. Mm-hmm. Exactly. You are correct, sir. So we are up against our very first break of the morning, but when we come back, myself, Superfan, and referee H.D. Daniels will continue talking about AEW All In, which is going to get started directly after we get off the air at noon today. So we will be right back, and we'll see you on the other side.
Remodeling, fireplace services, and installation. Call First Due Contracting, LLC.
Hi, this is Matt King. For all your jobs, big and small, call First Due Contracting, LLC at 636-359-6924.
The Wrecking Crew. What do you guys do here?
We recycle. Our typical business is picking up stuff that nobody else can get.
People may have a lot of money laying in their property and they just don't realize it.
They do. A lot of money sometimes, and not where you would think it would be.
Where are you located?
Troy, Winfield, Vandalia, Missouri. And we do boxes, trailers. We cut stuff up on site. We do insurance work. Farmers, if you have a burnt building or wind damaged building or grain bin, that's our specialty.
How do they get a hold of you?
Call me personally or call the office.
The Wrecking Crew, 636-462-1727.
24-hour towing and recovery in Lincoln, Warren, Pike, or St. Charles County. Call B&B Towing, 636-262-3865. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. B&B will be on the way, 636-262-3865.
Well, welcome back to Uncensored Wrestling Talk here on News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO, here in the new Gateway Fiber Studio. Of course, on the KYRO Facebook page, Traveling East Productions Facebook page, and YouTube channel. Go like and subscribe. And also on the Uncensored Wrestling Talk Facebook page. Join us as we're talking everything wrestling this morning. Join us with your questions and your comments. And to continue on, we're talking about AEW All In with Superfan Tim Williams, referee H.D. Daniels in the house this morning. And again, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Another match that I wanted to talk about with you guys is it's going to be a triple threat. for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. We've got the Young Bucks, of course, Nick and Matt Jackson taking on FTR against the Acclaimed. Who do you guys see coming out of this with those championship belts?
So, for me, again, I think the people I want is the Acclaim. You know, everybody loves the Acclaim. So do I. And I think they deserve another run. Plain and simple. They had a good run for a while, but they deserve to be 2-time tag team champions.
Okay. HD?
Yeah, I tend to agree. We've seen FTR and the Young Bucks how many times? 4, 5?
12, 15,
yeah,
20,
right.
30.
So, they added the Acclaim in for a little bit of flair, I feel, but I feel like they're going to take it still.
Well, we saw at last year's All In, the Young Bucks against FTR for the tag team championships. FTR won them at that time. And you know what? I think they stick to that same thing. I think FTR comes out as how many times have they won the championship now? 3? I think it's 3.
Yeah, this would be their 4th run, I believe.
So they're about to become a 4-time, a 4-time.
You hear my eye roll right there.
I love it. But it is kind of starting to get a bit old in the fact that we're seeing the same, basically 2 tag teams going against each other all the time. You've got enough tag teams in AEW that you can mix things up and keep it fresh. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. HD?
Yeah, I mean, you want to always keep things fresh, but at the same time, AEW has that audience that if you give them a good match, they don't care.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's true, too.
Young Bucks and FTR, they're going to give you a good match.
They always deliver.
Every single day.
Yeah.
So.
Now, I will say, and I know I've said this many times before, too, but the Young Bucks, it seems like all they do now is super kick, super kick, super kick. Dave Meltzer driver, super kick, super kick, super kick.
Here's my opinion on the Young Bucks in general.
Okay.
We wouldn't have AEW without them. So you can make those criticisms about the Young Bucks, which I do personally in my my own life, but at the same time, we wouldn't be watching or talking about All In if it wasn't for them.
That's true.
So
that's a very true
sometimes
statement.
I like to take a step back and say, you know what, this match is what it is. It's a Young Bucks match. We're gonna get what we get, but we wouldn't even have this match if it wasn't for them.
Yeah. This is true. I mean, you've got the Young Bucks and well, I mean, he's moved on, of course, Cody Rhodes, and a few others that put this thing together, basically. So, yeah, I can see your point. I understand that, yeah.
But one thing I kind of have a problem with is they're the EVPs. That means they've got preferential treatment.
Sure.
And my opinion is anytime you're in that position, you shouldn't hold whether it's a tag title, a singles title, whatever, you shouldn't be holding anything because then you could just manipulate the system to your advantage all the time.
That's what I liked about Cody Rhodes when he was there. Yes, he won the TNT, but he made that statement, I'm never going to have the world title, and I appreciated that.
Yeah.
For that same reason.
Yeah, I agree with you, 100%. Now, we've heard rumblings about a certain signing in AEW that could very well make his AEW debut today, and I think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in that Casino Gauntlet match, where I think there's like 21 different participants in this over the rope battle royale type match. Ricochet has signed a multi-year contract with AEW.
We know that for a fact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And that was just posted a couple of days ago that he has done that. So I personally would say hold off on that debut until it's TV time, like on Dynamite type show, because that would bring in more viewers. The ratings would go up a little bit better for that type of debut. And you could even you could even announce that he's debuting on Dynamite or Collision or something along those lines to raise those ratings up, so that way people know, hey, something's about to happen here. Yeah. But I think I got this feeling that Ricochet is going to debut during this Casino Gauntlet match. Now he may not win this first match in AEW, because the winner of this, of course, gets a shot at the AEW World Championship. And I'm not saying that he's not good enough, because he definitely is good enough. But I don't foresee that happening. I just don't see it happening in his very first match in AEW. But what do you guys think?
Absolutely. That would be the smart place for him to jump in, because you really don't have to have a storyline behind it of what he's going to do. But also some of the rumors and people are talking about he might get involved in the Will Ospreay and MJF match too.
That's interesting. Interesting.
Why would he get involved in that match?
Well, they're saying basically going back to start the rivalry again with Will Ospreay, so that he could either actually come in and help MJF.
So Ricochet's a heel.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I would like that very much. As a wrestling fan, it's like, okay, so I know way back, and this is just an example, way back in the day, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, they, for what most people remember, he spent his entire time as a good guy, okay? But there was a very small little snippet in there where he was a bad guy, and it didn't go over well, and it didn't, and because of that, it didn't last but maybe a couple of matches type length. So I think you would get the same type of reaction to that with Ricochet.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, the thing I look at is maybe not necessarily come in as a heel, but someone with attitude. Come in like, I am here to take over, and there's nothing that anybody can do about it.
Yeah.
So I think something like that, because now you've built up Will Ospreay as the face of the company, and you bring him in, and I think he needs to come in with a little bit of chip on his shoulder and make waves.
HT, what do you think?
Yeah, thinking through what you're saying, and I'm thinking of the AEW crowd. I've said it already a few times sitting here that they're a little different, that crowd. And if you bring in a WWE name into their world, they're very protective of their world.
Right.
And you bring in someone like a Ricochet and just say, I'm here to take over AEW, they're not going to react to that. They're going to... I'm afraid of bad heel heat. Like, we don't even want Ricochet here. Like, we know you're a heel, but we don't even want to see you. Like, go away.
Yeah. That could be the reaction to that if he did come out like that. Yeah. Absolutely. But that's not to say that he didn't have a great rivalry with Will Ospreay over in New Japan, because they did, and you could still have that going on in AEW, but you don't have to do it in such a way that it's going to give, like HD said, bad heat.
Yeah.
But at least we'd have a storyline.
You can turn bad heat into a story.
Right.
You can turn anything into a story. It doesn't, yeah, anything can be a story.
Yeah, for sure. And I hope that we get and this is just me personally on this one. I hope that we get the Ricochet from New Japan and Lucha Underground, when he was known as Puma, wrestler, as opposed as to the WWE Ricochet. I think that while he had a lot of awesome moments in WWE, like that mid-air collision with Logan Paul, I think that he was... I got to be careful with this. I think he was a bit underutilized in the WWE, and really could have been showcased a lot more and a lot better than what he was. What do you think?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I would like to see him, I hate to use, like insider terms, but pushed higher. But at the same time, maybe he just didn't have the personality during his run that WWE was looking for.
Yeah. You might be right. No, here's something else that I wanted us to talk about in the middle of talking about All In. You know, they're over in London for this. And we have seen, and that not just for AEW, but WWE as well, and some other wrestling organizations that have gone into that area in Europe, where the wrestling crowd is rabid.
Yeah.
And with the loudness that they can get, with the chants that they do. Now, the fans in World League Wrestling, we've seen, like down at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, at the Race Wrestling Arena itself in Troy, the fans can get really loud when they want to.
Mm-hmm.
But over there in Europe, it seems like they stay that way all the time. We see ebbs and flows over here, but they're always constantly up there. The American fans can take some lessons from European fans.
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought up Fort Leonard Wood, because when you are deprived of wrestling, you're excited when you see wrestling, and that's how I feel about the European crowds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, WWE goes on their world tour every year, and they do house shows, but when you have that pay-per-view or that live SmackDown or whatever, you got to be excited to be there, just like Fort Leonard Wood was for WLW.
Mm-hmm.
They're going crazy for really, a punch to the face. They're going crazy. American fans are spoiled.
Oh yeah,
they
very
see
much
it.
So.
Yeah, so it's, I don't know. Sorry, I'm getting tongue tied.
No, you're fine.
But when you're deprived of it, you're more excited to see it.
Sure, I can get that. And when we were down at Fort Leonard Wood, we were in a good sized gym.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of open space in that place. We had roughly, what was it, about 1,000 to 1,200 people, both this year and last year. But boy, I tell you what, it sounded like there was 10,000 people up in there.
It was so loud.
You couldn't hear yourself think. It was that loud.
It was so loud.
Yeah. And that's what I wish that we could, as wrestling fans here in the States, as a collective whole, that we can get back to. For example, like the Monday Night Raw directly after WrestleMania used to be not so much in the event itself. The crowd themselves was just so hyped and so loud and doing all kinds of wild chants. And I think part of that was because we were seeing a lot of influence coming in from European fans and outside the country and whatnot. But over the last 3 or 4 years, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it doesn't seem like the Monday Night Raw has that same luster.
Agree.
After WrestleMania, or even after any pay-per-view, big pay-per-view that we see here in the States.
I was going to use the word luster as well. It's lost its luster.
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like, how do I say this? We are being exposed too much to WWE programming.
Mm-hmm.
Like WrestleMania is 2 days, so we're gonna go Monday, Tuesday, off Wednesday, off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday again on a WrestleMania week.
You're right.
And you're in America where the fans are spoiled, and it's maybe they're just like, I'm not so into this right now, but I want to be here.
Yeah.
You wouldn't buy a ticket if you didn't want to be there.
Right.
So
Right. I mean, but also for WrestleMania anyway, it's so expensive. It really is expensive. Yeah. It's an expensive ticket, even for your nosebleed seats, right? But if I'm going to pay that kind of money to go to an event like that, I'm going to be as loud as I can be,
Understand.
And it's like you said, and I've said we both have, the luster for some reason is gone. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said American fans are spoiled.
Yeah.
We're spoiled little brats.
We are. No. We're spoiled. Well, half the time we're, booking out and doing fantasy bookings in our head and what should happen next and everything. And I can see time Monday comes around after a full week of WrestleMania, you're kind of almost brain dead.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so the crowd might not be as lively except for the European influence of the people still there from WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, when we're talking crowds, when you go to watch and this is over there in Japan, a New Japan Pro Wrestling event, the crowd there is how can I put it?
Polite.
It's yes, very much so. Very polite. A lot of times they're very quiet and astutely watching what's going on. And there are times when they'll get up out of the seat and clap and make noise and chants and all that kind of stuff, but it's more of just eyes glued on the product, watching what's happening, type thing. And there's something to say about that too, because it's showing respect to the wrestlers that are performing for you in front of you. But for here though, I just wish that we could get back to the day where and it wasn't just in WWE. We saw that at throughout the 70s and the 80s and even throughout the 90s as well, where fans at these events were just loud and boisterous and having a good time and just making sure that everybody could hear them, whoever was watching.
How do you think we can get back to that?
That's a really good question. And I think WWE is really making a lot of strides towards this, of good storytelling, of good matches, matches that make sense, if you know what I mean.
So to interrupt, it's really hard for me to say that WWE is doing anything wrong right now.
I know, right?
I know we all want the big crowd, but what are they doing wrong? They're on a run that they've never been on. So,
they really are.
You can say what you want about the crowd, but what they're doing is working.
It is. It absolutely is.
Well, their hottest product to me right now is NXT.
Okay.
But it's also a smaller arena, and it makes it a little bit louder. But the biggest thing you ask, how do we get to that? To me, it goes back to storylines, and maybe be a little bit more kayfabe out in the public.
Okay.
When you got a rivalry with somebody, don't go out and get in the car with them after the show.
Yeah, well, I mean, there is that too. Well, we are up against our second break of the show, and when we come back, we'll continue talking about this and continue talking AEW All In, because that is their, in my mind anyway, their WrestleMania, and that goes on today directly after we get off the air at 12 o'clock noon. So we will be right back right after these messages.
Have you heard? Affordable healthcare is better than ever. And right now there are more carriers and plans to choose from. If you're between 18 and 64 years old with a household income of $25,000 or less, this message is for you. Right now, the government's Affordable Care Act is available for individual and family health coverage plans with little to no cost to you. Don't gamble your health. Call Health Care for All. 70% of callers qualify for a zero-cost health care coverage. See if you are one of them. Call now. Our agents are standing by to help you get the health insurance plan you and your family needs and deserves. If you're uninsured or struggling to afford your current health insurance, help is just a phone call away. This is not Medicaid or Medicare. This is the marketplace with the largest selection of healthcare plans from the Affordable Care Act. To find a plan that's right for you, call 800-624-9769. That's 800-624-9769.
Trust the professionals at Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions. Buying or selling, they'll make your dreams come true. Here's farm auction and acreage expert Dan Stokes.
Meyer & Company's been in the business for over 40 years. We specialize in things called 1031 exchanges, so we're very versed in how to exchange farm ground for other farm ground. So it's something that we do on a daily basis, and we really enjoy doing it.
We are the #1 stop in the region for buying and selling residential, commercial, and farm real estate. We've been serving the area for more than 40 years, and we do it with pride.
It's still a pretty strong seller's market. Dollars per acre is still high. If you're able to connect with a good agent and you can find something off market, market. We do that all the time, and we're able to still get some deals out there here and there.
Dan Stokes.
You can either call my cell phone at 314-971-0654, or you can call the brokerage at 636-462-5555.
Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, North Lincoln Drive in Troy, 636-462-5555. Online at meyerlistings.com.
The Olean Livestock Market is now the Olean Regional Stockyards and under new ownership. The Olean Regional Stockyards will be holding sales every Monday at 12 noon. For consignment and trucking needs, call Hayden Hurst at 573-690-2705 or Dusty Roberts at 417-298-9755. The Olean Regional Stockyards, same location, 56 Highway FF in Eldon. Our new ownership allows us to make improvements to our facility while maintaining familiarity to our customers. We can't wait to serve you. The Olean Regional Stockyards, the best destination for cattle buyers and sellers.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at meyerlistings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 68 overnight tonight. Monday's high will be in the lower 100s, light rain likely. Temperatures in the mid 100s forecast on Tuesday. Currently in Troy it's 80. In Wentzville it's 81 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at meyerlistings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Welcome back to Uncensored Wrestling Talk right here on News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO in the brand new Gateway Fiber Studio. And of course, the video portion of this broadcast that you can see on the KYRO Facebook page, the Traveling East Production Facebook page, and YouTube. Go like and subscribe. And on the Uncensored Wrestling Talk Facebook page. Brought to you by, Traveling East Productions, Elliott Flooring, Safe Harbor Insurance in Winfield, and of course Black Flag Outfitters, sponsor for this particular show. And of course all those sponsors bring all of the broadcasts for all of our shows here on KYRO, and we thank them so very much for it. Our main sponsor for this particular show, World League Wrestling, the house that Harley Race built. The next show will be on September the 7th. Tickets, folks, are on sale right now. Don't wait, because if you do, you're going to get turned away at the door. I guarantee it. I'm going to say it again. I guarantee that you will get turned away at the door if you wait till the day of to get your tickets. The last event, not sold out once, but sold out twice. Sold out the 4 days before the event. Some tickets were put together to put back out there again. Some more seating put in. And those tickets, those 30 tickets that were put together, sold out within just a couple of hours after it being announced. So don't wait. Don't wait. We've got a couple of matches that have been announced so far. It's going to be Dysfunction, Brandon Espinoza, and Kyle Roberts taking on the Premier, S.K. Bishop and Campbell Myers. And then also we have got, and I'm looking forward to this one, a little bit of retribution maybe had. The one and only astonishing Austin Militalo is taking on Big Jack Parker Jr.
I cannot wait for that match. That's the one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
My boy Austin, he's got to step it up.
He does need to step it up.
And he needs not to worry about outside interference and focus on his match with Jack.
Well, that's exactly what happened the last time.
I know.
The music came up, and he got up on that turnbuckle and was waiting for the other guys to come out. I think he was going to try and use that turnbuckle as a springboard and jump down onto him. That's his mindset anyway.
Well, he was looking right at me, and I was like, turn around. And
he didn't listen to you.
No, he didn't. He didn't. I don't know what's going on with that.
But definitely get your tickets right now. Please, don't wait.
I've got my tickets.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Okay.
I'm not going to be waiting.
You probably got yours the very first day that it went on sale, though.
Yeah.
That's what I used to do. I mean, get the tickets as soon as they go on sale, and then you ain't got to worry about it. Right? And HD, you've seen it firsthand over this last, couple of years, honestly, if you really want to look at it, we have had some huge crowds, not just at the Race Wrestling Arena, but following us on the road as well. You don't want to sit and wait to get your tickets.
No, I've been with WLW for 2.5 or so years now, and I joined at a really great time.
Mm-hmm.
Big crowds, great energy. Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely. All right, guys, gentlemen, let's jump back in to AEW All In. We've got a few more matches that we've got to talk about. Excuse me. And one of those being the TNT Championship will be on the line as Jack Perry will defend against Darby Allin. Interesting matchup here.
Oh, wait. No.
Smack him, HD. Wake him up.
For some reason, I just can't get into this match. I'll be honest. This is the one match on. It's like, I guess it was because it was the way it was booked. Like, give me the match or I'm going to burn them at Blood and Guts. I don't know. You know, it just. I like the idea that it's two pillars from AEW going at each other.
For sure.
But then again, it's kind of like, okay, how many things are we going to give Darby all the time?
Yeah.
So, personally, I hope Jack retains.
HD, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen in this match?
I expect Jack to retain, too. He just got that new belt, and I think he would lose momentum. Just now joining the Elite, however short time it's been.
Right.
And Darby, he's going to do something insane, and he'll get himself over how he gets over, and I feel like Jack will win.
And yeah, you're right. He did just change that championship look and everything. And that was an interesting vignette on how...
Right.
I thought that was one of the better vignettes that AEW has done, showing what Jack was doing to that belt and everything like that. So it's got that dark look to it.
Right.
And it's as dark as Jack Perry is now and all that sort of thing. When you first saw Jack Perry coming into AEW and wrestling as Jungle Boy, did you see this side of Jack Perry coming out at any time soon?
I think as an educated wrestling fan, you always know at some point the good guy's going to become the bad guy. I don't know if I saw it coming out now because of his rivalry with Christian. I think about that a lot. And how he was, the babyface getting beat up by Christian every week and pretty brutally.
Yeah.
And then very shortly after, he becomes a villain. It's like, what was the point of that story? So
you think they did that switcheroo
too soon?
Too soon after that. I would agree with you 100%.
But back whenever the Pillars were going after MJF, he was kind of starting to turn even back then.
Sure.
If just his attitude, it's me. I'm the one. And I guess that's where the rivalry between Darby and him kind of really took off and put some fire under it. But it's going to be a casket match. Did they make that official?
Yeah, it is a casket match. Yeah.
Somebody's going to die.
Now, here's my question. Here's the question.
Probably Darby.
With AEW, and we've had this discussion 100 times already on this show, but HD, I want to get your thoughts on this. With AEW, when you have a match like a casket match, when you have a match like a steel cage match, when you have a match like the Anarchy in the Arena type match, all those different types of matches, they're set up to end a feud. Okay. With this one, with the casket match, TNT Championship on the line, does this end the feud, or do we see this continuing on? What do you think?
Even if it doesn't end the feud immediately, Jack and Darby will feud for their entire career as long as they're both in AEW.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be next week on Dynamite. It could be 5 years from now. They'll always be in a rivalry, I feel. Maybe they'll even tag team for a little while, but there'll always be that tension.
Yeah. Well, see, that's my issue though with these quote unquote gimmick matches. It's never the end of something, because we see those particular individuals going right back at it the very next show, basically.
So, right or wrong, however, I mean, you can't exactly say AEW is doing anything wrong either. I mean, they're at Wembley today. I mean, they're not doing anything wrong per se, I would say. So,
okay.
Let's say that the feud ends. I feel like you want it to end. You want something new. What would that be? Maybe they're not ready for that yet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's an interesting take. I like it. I like that.
Yeah, but the one thing I think, as far as like if it's a big event, why does it have to be a gimmick match? Why can't it be a straight up wrestling match? Because now, if you have a gimmick match, they're going to turn around and go, well, it happened because, you know, someone used a sign or a chair or something.
Well, maybe the gimmick match will set the story for something more.
It could. It could. It could. It's possible. We'll see. We're going to just have to see what happens there. So we're all three agreeing, though, that Jack Perry retains in this match.
Yep.
All right, next match. AEW American title / international title / All Atlantic title / there's going to be another name to this title / the champion MJF is going up against, in my mind, one of the best wrestlers in the world right now, Will Ospreay.
Yeah. This is the first question: who's going to win? Or
you take it wherever you want to take it.
I'll take it in this direction. MJF, in my opinion, whether he's playing the villain or not, is still a babyface because he still gets that reaction. People, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole per se, but even though he's the villain, he's still loved because of who he is.
Mm-hmm.
So he can play that heel and say those bad things, but people appreciate what he is. And he's trying, I feel like it's a stretch. He's trying to play this American villain in London. And it's probably going to work in London, but over here, people still love him, even though he's this mean guy. And they're trying to play off, London versus America. I feel like Ospreay's going to win to get that hero's ovation, but I don't think it's going to be the hatred that we want it to be over time.
Yeah,
or that they want it to be.
I don't know though, because did you see the other night when they had that face to face?
Yeah, and I enjoyed it.
That was very, very good, and there was a lot of chanting, a lot of loudness from the crowd. That what would you call that? Would you call that hatred towards MJF that they were doing, or would you call it just more getting into the moment of the situation?
The fans, you mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know how to answer that because MJF will say these bad things, but at the same time, the AEW fans in particular, they'll say back and like, that was really cool what he said. I know he's trying to do something. I know he's trying to be a bad guy, but that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So it's hard for someone like that. He was a babyface with Adam Cole, and I enjoyed that too. And at this point in his career, I feel like MJF, the bad guy, is really forced because people want to like him. They want to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when he was teaming with Adam Cole during that little stretch there, yeah, you saw people were just falling all over themselves cheering for MJF.
Double clothesline, yeah.
Yeah.
Who you got?
It's probably going to be Will, but I think MJF retains.
Really?
Hook or crook. Again, I'm almost thinking it wouldn't shock me to see Ricochet do a little run in there.
Yeah, understand.
And either cost Will the match, and then
I'm not going to be a happy wrestling fan if Ricochet comes in as a bad guy. I'm just not.
I agree.
Hey,
with you.
some of the best villains make the best heroes when they turn back.
Understand.
So we've got about a few minutes, about 3.5 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes till the top of the hour. So we've got one more match that we've got to discuss before we get there, and that is Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson for the AEW World Championship. If Bryan loses, his career is over. What do you think, HD?
Yeah, the fan in me is leaning towards Swerve. I really like what he's doing, but the logic in my mind says Danielson's going to win.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super.
Brian Danielson's going to have to win because he put his career on the line.
Exactly.
That's the classic career on the line. That means I got a title run in me.
Right.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be so far-fetched, I think, though.
Well, he made that statement that I'm going to retire, for my kids or whatever. But I feel like if he wins, he'll go on one of those like Brock Lesnar runs.
Okay.
Because he wants to limit the danger in his life.
Sure.
He's been outspoken about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we still see Bryan Danielson through the end of the year.
Sure.
I think the last pay-per-view
World's End
is World's End, like the 30th or the 29th or something along those lines of December. So I think I can conceivably see him winning this championship and holding it until that time.
Sure.
And then after he loses that championship, then being done. But what I don't want to see, personally, and this is just personally, I don't want to see where every single match, if he loses, career is over type situation.
Yeah, that'll get old.
Yeah, just like that's what WWE did, if you remember, with Ric Flair. He had like a 2 or 3 month build-up of every single match that he was doing. His career was on the line. And it kind of loses a bit each time as you go along. When you finally get there to the end, it's like, it's over. And that's about the reaction that you get. It's over.
Yeah.
I don't know. That retirement match between him and Shawn Michaels is probably the best one, though. Just the emotion at the end and him putting the old dog down.
It was good. I'm not saying it wasn't, but doing it over and over and over again, it kind of like with that word that we used earlier, the luster.
Sure.
The luster. So I don't want to see that. I want to see him have some really good championship matches defending that title, of course, leading up to the end of the year. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you guys. I think Bryan Danielson will win this match, and I don't think that this hurts Swerve Strickland in the least.
Well, Swerve and it'll be, Hangman Page and Swerve still got issues that they got to resolve. So
for sure. Well, we are up against the top of the hour. When we come back, we're going to jump into an interview with H.D. Daniels, find out about the life and the times of H.D. Daniels, and we will see you after the news.
Fiber Studios, online at gatewayfiber.com. News Radio 105.3, 1280 KYRO Troy. It's 11 o'clock in the Heartland.
News, I'm Jack Callahan. Israel's military says it has launched airstrikes inside Lebanon to preempt planned rocket attacks on Israel by Hezbollah.
Hezbollah's ongoing aggression risks dragging the people of Lebanon, the people of Israel, and the whole region into a wider escalation.
That's IDF spokesman Daniel Hagari. Hezbollah launched drones and rockets after Israel's attacks. Israel says most were shot down. NASA astronauts Wilmore and Williams will stay at the International Space Station until February. NASA not sure the Boeing Starliner capsule can bring them home safely.
NASA has decided that Butch and Sonny will return with Crew 9 next February, and that Starliner will return uncrewed.
NASA's Bill Nelson. America is listening to Fox News.
They say to make yourself indispensable at work, so I developed a digital catering solution that only I can operate. Okay, it's actually EasyCater.com.
David!
They love me, because I, the Director of Catering Logistics, not a real job, use EasyCater to get catering from all our favorite restaurants. Tight budget? No problem. Need vegetarian options? Gluten-free? Check and check.
D-Man, you crushed lunch today.
It was easy. EasyCater.
EasyCater is your all-in-one tech platform for ordering food for work. Start your order at EasyCater.com.
You know, as they say, one person's personal information is another person's treasure.
Exactly. That's why I use NordVPN every time I surf the web.
Features like Threat Protection Pro's safeguard devices from phishing websites and disable intrusive ads and trackers. Just check NordVPN.com, grab the deal, and see for yourself. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
A winning day on Wall Street with the major averages ending higher for the day and week after Fed Chair Jerome Powell signaled that the central bank is ready to lower interest rates.
With an appropriate dialing back of policy restraint, there is good reason to think that the economy will get back to 2% inflation while maintaining a strong labor market.
Powell did not say when rate cuts would begin or how large they might be, but it's widely expected that the Fed will announce a modest quarter-point cut in its benchmark rate when they meet in mid-September. All 11 sectors in the S&P 500 finished higher, with tech leading the charge. Banks, home builders, small cap, and chip stocks also rose on Powell's rate cut comments. The Dow up 462 points, the Nasdaq higher by 258, S&P 500 up 45. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
I'm Emily Campagno. This month, the Fox True Crime Podcast presents Crimes on Campus.
More pledges, more money, more colleges, until it was a multi-million-dollar drug network.
You'll be joining me on college and university campuses all across the country as I share chilling stories of scandal, corruption, and murder.
Brutalized 5 students over 3 nights.
New episodes available every Tuesday this month. Listen and follow at foxtruecrime.com.
Have you heard? Affordable healthcare is better than ever. And right now there are more carriers and plans to choose from. If you're between 18 and 64 years old with a household income of $25,000 or less, this message is for you. Right now, the government's Affordable Care Act is available for individual and family health coverage plans with little to no cost to you. Don't gamble your health. Call Health Care for All. 70% of callers qualify for a zero-cost health care coverage. See if you are one of them. Call now. Our agents are standing by to help you get the health insurance plan you and your family needs and deserves. If you're uninsured or struggling to afford your current health insurance, help is just a phone call away. This is not Medicaid or Medicare. This is the marketplace with the largest selection of healthcare plans from the Affordable Care Act. To find a plan that's right for you, call 800-624-9769. That's 800-624-9769.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Isaac Lowenkron.
Multiple outlets report the Miami Dolphins are releasing quarterback Mike White, meaning Skylar Thompson will serve as the backup for Tua Tagovailoa. ESPN reports the Los Angeles Rams have granted starting linebacker Ernest Jones permission to seek a trade. Jones was the Rams' leading tackler last season. This is the final year of his contract. NFL media reports the Jacksonville Jaguars released receiver Denzel Mims. In Major League Baseball Saturday night, the Tampa Bay Rays defeated the Los Angeles Dodgers in 10 innings, 9-8. Tampa Bay's Junior Caminero, the game-tying home run in the top of the ninth. Jose Caballero, the game-winning home run in the top of the 10th. Shohei Ohtani, his 41st home run in a losing cause. The Mets' Francisco Lindor homered from both sides of the plate, including a grand slam, had 5 RBI in a 7-1 win at San Diego.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 67 overnight tonight. Monday's high will be in the lower 100s, light rain likely. Temperatures in the mid-100s forecast on Tuesday. Currently in Troy it's 85. In Wentzville it's 84 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Well, good morning and welcome back to Uncensored Wrestling Talk right here on News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO, coming to you from the new Gateway Fiber Studios, and of course on the KYRO Facebook page, Traveling East Productions Facebook page and YouTube channel. Go like and subscribe and also on the Uncensored Wrestling Talk Facebook page. Join us with your comments and your questions. And we're about to do an interview with our guest this morning, H.D. Daniels. But before we get to that, I want to give a quick shout out and a thank you to our sponsors that help provide for the video broadcast of this show. You've got Elliott Flooring, Safe Harbor Insurance in Winfield, Black Flag Outfielders, of course, Traveling East Productions themselves. The sponsor for this show, in particular, World League Wrestling, the house that Harley Race built. Next live event will be September the 7th in just a few short weeks. Got a couple of matches that have been announced already. This is going to be a big event leading up to WLW 25 in just a few short months. We've got the tag team champions, Dysfunction, Brandon Espinoza and Kyle Roberts, in action against the Premier, S.K. Bishop and Campbell Myers. And then, of course, also Austin Mulitalo, the astonishing one, looks for retribution against Big Jack Parker Jr.
Maybe Austin could give him the ride of the lightning this time.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe. Get your tickets. They're on sale right now. Don't wait till the day of, because if you do, you're going to miss out. And when you miss out with World League Wrestling, you're missing a lot.
You are missing a lot.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much to H.D. Daniels this morning for joining us here on the show. And we do so much appreciate you coming in. And we're going to jump in now to the interview portion of this show.
It took a whole hour to get to this.
I know, right?
Trying to say AEW is more important than me?
Absolutely.
All right.
It's more important than you. It's more important than me. It's more important than all of us put together. But, I digress.
Yeah.
Hey, so, and usually we do the, like I said before at the beginning of the first hour, we usually do the interview first and all that sort of stuff. But, with AEW's All In today, and that's going to happen in about 50 minutes, it starts. This is their WrestleMania, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I consider, myself personally, I consider the anniversary show as their WrestleMania, the Double or Nothing show that they do in, what is that, May now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's May. In May. But, I mean, this one has gotten to be where it keeps getting bigger and bigger each year. Now, I don't know if I agree with them saying that it was how did they put that, for last year's show, over 80,000 fans, the biggest show of all time and all that, because it's not. Come on now. It's not.
It got them attention, though,
It got them attention. That's absolutely for sure. But, I mean, now maybe outside of the U.S., internationally, maybe it was one of the bigger shows of all time. If you don't count the Collision in Korea from way back when, because that one, let's be honest, people were forced to go to that show,
right?
And both nights had well over 160,000 people at those two shows. But the owner always gets me with that stuff. Anyway. So, see, lost train of thought. I lost my train of thought because of that. Him and T.T. Harrison, I don't know which is worse. God love them.
You're talking about forced attendance.
Thank you. So, again, I guess you could say it was the most tickets sold to an event outside of the U.S.
Sure.
We'll see if that number gets eclipsed today. I gotta kind of tend to think that it might, because even when you go back and you watch last All-Ins, you can still see empty seats up in the upper bowl area of the stadium, and even in the lower bowl at some spots and some. So there's room to improve in that, is what I'm trying to say. But let's now jump in. Well, we've got the time to our interview with H.D. Daniels. And H.D., how old were you when wrestling first caught your eye?
Yeah, I was around 12 years old, just at school. And my clique of people, they started talking about, Hulk Hogan and Diamond Dallas Page and Kevin Nash. And I was like, and they were very excited about it. And I was like, what are you guys talking about? Like, I don't know, what is this? And they go, dude, turn on TNT tonight and watch Monday Nitro. And I was hooked immediately.
Yeah.
I think the first match that I have in my memory is Hulk Hogan versus Sting, and the ending got cut off at the end of it because TNT started a new show.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have never stopped. Most of the people that introduced it to me, they stopped. They quote, grew out of it. I never did. Just continue to be obsessed and watch it as much as I can.
Very cool.
Yeah.
There was a name that you just said a few moments ago. Diamond Dallas Page. Right now, at World League Wrestling, we've got our own Diamond Dallas Page in the form of Jeff Wilde. And he's actually a little bit older than what Diamond Dallas Page was when he first started, quote-unquote, wrestling in the ring.
Yeah.
Because, before that, Diamond Dallas Page was a manager and a valet and a car driver and, all these different types of things. But with Jeff Wilde, he's our Diamond Dallas Page, and like I said, a few years older than what DDP was.
I can hear Leland rolling his eyes. I can hear it.
You were there at the last event for the Door to Destiny Rumble. What were your thoughts on Jeff Wilde when you first saw him get into the ring?
Jeff, I really hope you're listening. I'm going to tell you to listen. Jeff Wilde is... he's important to me because I know him, and we work at the same company.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm just at my desk one day at work talking about wrestling, and this guy, one of my coworker, he goes, I work out with somebody who's trying to be a wrestler. His name's Jeff. I'm not sure where he's going to school. I'm not sure where, but I'm going to connect you guys. And you're a referee. He's trying to be one. Maybe you guys can, connect and network with each other. And it was Jeff Wilde. And him and I think we clicked immediately, became friends pretty much right away. And it's been a few years while he's been trying to have his first match. And him and I are the same age. So, yeah, he's a little older. But watching him chase his dream and have his first match, and I was there ringside during the Rumble, it was awesome. I'm so happy for Jeff Wilde.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. I think he's got a lot of potential.
Yeah.
And say what you will about age, age is only a number when, one, you're in shape, two, you've got the drive and the passion to do this. And I think he's got all of those things, all of those tangibles that you need to make it in the world of professional wrestling. Now, back to yourself, though.
Yeah.
When you were growing up at 11, 12 years old, when you got into watching wrestling, who were some of the ones that you really, truly gravitated towards and just couldn't wait to see them pop up on the
When
screen?
I was younger, it was like Goldberg, Kevin Nash, Sting was a big one. And then I gravitated more towards the technical wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
A certain name not to be mentioned who did a certain bad thing, who had a moment at WrestleMania 20.
Oh, you can go ahead and say it.
Chris Benoit was my guy until the incident.
For sure.
I loved everything that he did. I loved his aggression and his intensity in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
After that whole thing went down, I started looking at wrestlers who molded entertainment and wrestling together.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Jericho is probably my favorite of all time. Yeah, I named my dog Jericho because I just loved him so much. Nowadays, it's people like AJ Styles. I'm really liking what Swerve Strickland is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Who else catches my attention these days?
But back in the day, when you were going,
back in the day,
in the day,
yeah,
it was guys like you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Which type of style of wrestling did you enjoy more? The technical, the high flying, all that different
So one
stuff.
of my top 5, I can't believe I forgot him, Rey Mysterio.
Mhm.
He, hey HD, sit down and list me your top 5. Rey Mysterio's in there.
Okay.
He had that way of combining that high flying with believability. So what he did had, you're doing a triple flip off the turnbuckle. What meaning does that have? But Rey did his best to make it have meaning.
For sure.
In my opinion.
Absolutely. Well, since you said it, you brought it up.
Yeah.
Your top 5 from that time period.
Oh, wow. Rey Mysterio, Goldberg. This is me as 12.
Right.
So if I was, 12. Rey Mysterio, Goldberg, Kevin Nash. Who else did I like at that time? Start naming wrestlers.
Oh golly, you're gonna put us on the spot.
You said Sting earlier.
Oh, Sting. That's number 4. I love Sting.
Steiner Brothers.
Okay, we'll go with Scott Steiner. I love Scott Steiner.
Like Scott Steiner.
Yeah.
Pre Papa Pump or post?
No, Papa Pump. Papa Pump. Yeah.
If you hear me.
So were you more of a? Sounds like a WCW person over WWE during the Monday Night Wars.
So during the Monday Night Wars, I was still young, and I didn't understand the concept of switching back and forth. I just watched WCW, and when they went off, I legit thought Shane McMahon was going to run Nitro the next week.
Right.
And I turn on the TV, and it's not on. And my brother, my younger brother, gravitated away Nitro and started watching Raw before I did. So I started watching Raw with him. Like we would watch 2 different wrestling shows in different rooms.
Hey,
Yeah, I don't know. I stuck with WCW. I just did.
So would it be safe to say, and of course it being that age anyway, that your heart was broken when WCW went to the wayside?
Yeah, I would say yes. Mm-hmm.
In your mind, now that you're in the business, and have a little bit more insight to things, what do you think ultimately brought down WCW?
Oh boy, I mean that's so hard
to
say.
It's a long, loaded question. I know
it is, and who am I to judge a company like WCW?
You're a wrestling fan, number one,
right? Oh man,
consumer of the product.
With the knowledge that I have and the interviews that I've watched, it's ego. I guess you would have to say the ego of everyone involved to say that I know more than you know, and this is how I want to run this company, and then those egos clash, and the ultimate result is bad television.
For sure, and I agree with you 100%. I have said many times that I didn't think it was just one particular person that brought down WCW. It was a conglomeration.
I mean, there was a whole documentary just how many episodes about who killed WCW. It's like people are still talking about it.
Oh yeah, for sure. 23 years later. Yeah. And do you think that and AEW has been many say modeled after WCW, has many things that make people remember WCW. Do you think AEW becomes, I guess, the second coming of WCW?
I kind of hope not, because that would mean they're going out of business.
Well, there is that.
I think people want AEW. You can talk about tribalism if you want to. People want it to be like WCW, and it doesn't have to be.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch both and still enjoy both.
If you're a wrestling fan, you're supposed to be a wrestling fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thinking. We are up against the first break of this second hour of Uncensored Wrestling Talk. But when we come back, we continue on with our interview with the one and only referee, H.D. Daniels, and we'll see you on the other side.
Hi, this is Ken with Elliott Flooring. Listen for the News Radio KYRO local news at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, and 4 p.m. Powered by Elliott Flooring.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for road trips. We're for covering as much ground as possible on 2, 4, or 18 wheels. We're for drop tops, T-tops, classics, cruisers, pickup trucks, and dump trucks. We're for displaying Missouri plates like Metals of Pride, Have you ever hit a deer? Yep, we're for you too. We're for getting stuck behind a tractor on a 2-lane highway. And if you're a Missouri driver, we have an auto policy for you.
Call Sandy Turner at 107B North Lincoln Drive in Troy, 636-528-8443.
East Central Missouri's news leader from Fox, Missouri Net, Brownfield Farm News, and hourly updates from the 24-hour KYRO newsroom. News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 KYRO. Online at newsradiokyro.com. Depend on it.
Well, welcome back to Uncensored Wrestling Talk right here on News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM KYRO in the brand new Gateway Fiber Studio. And my next question to you, HD, and as we are doing an interview with the referee, HD Daniels, what do you think of this new studio that we've got going on?
Well, I was never in the old one, but this one looks pretty cool.
It looks pretty good, don't it?
Yeah.
I like the color scheme that we've got going on.
NWO Wolfpack.
Exactly. That's the first thing after I first saw these sound cushions being put up on the wall and stuff. That's exactly what I thought of was the NWO Wolfpack.
Everything is wrestling.
Exactly.
Everything.
Exactly.
Is there anything else?
No, not for me.
Speaking of the NWO.
Sure.
During that time, because it was about that time when you were first started watching wrestling and everything, did you gravitate towards the NWO as well?
The Wolfpack for sure, because that's when Kevin Nash had his babyface run, and Conan and Lex Luger and Red and Black Sting, I thought was the coolest thing that I've ever seen.
For sure.
When he changed his paint to red, I was like, oh my god.
See, that's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time is Sting, and when that was going on, I was like, okay, yeah, I can dig this. But what was your thought? What was your thoughts when Kevin Nash had that poke of doom?
I have a controversial opinion about the poke of doom.
Okay, let's hear it.
I thought it was great TV.
Okay.
I know the Wolfpack and NWO joined and they became bad guys and stuff, but I was like, I've never seen that on TV before. I know it kind of sucks in hindsight. But I was like, that was I've never seen that before. So I was like, whoa. I was taken aback at it, but I was a child. So,
well, I mean, with Hulk Hogan, so a lot of people only remember him being quote unquote a good guy, right?
Yeah.
But when he first started his wrestling career in the 70s, he was bad of the bad.
Yeah.
He was a bad guy. He was, he even had, Classy Freddie Blassie as his manager and, things of that nature. And so he had that in him for a very long time. And when it came back, I was like you with seeing... I was taken aback. I was like, whoa, this ain't cool. This ain't right, man.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up, Hogan got underneath the WWF and got everything behind him. Say your prayers, eat your vitamins. I was a Hulkster, and it was a good time. But when he turned heel at
Bash at the Beach,
I was like, okay, let's see what happens here.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It was quite an interesting time. So moving on with you, though, HD. This is 11, 12 years old or so. Getting into high school and all that, did you get into wrestling?
No.
The sport itself?
I was an athlete in high school, but I never was a mat wrestler. No, I was a swimmer.
Okay.
I swam competitively and I played water polo at my high school.
Nice.
And my younger years I played hockey, so I have an athletic background, just never wrestling.
Okay. At what point in your life was it that realistically, I should say, because all of us were like, when growing up watching all of this, I want to do that, I want to do that, right? But how old were you when realistically you were like, you know what? I wanna do something in the industry.
Around my lower 30s is when I got the itch.
Okay.
After I graduated college, fighting to establish my career, I felt like I was doing what I was supposed to do in my life. I got married, had a good job. We had one child, and we had another on the way. And while my wife was pregnant, I had this itch for a little bit more. I just loved this wrestling thing, and me and my wife sat down and we had a conversation. We were moving houses at the time, and she had a baby on the way, and I was like, I just have this desire to do something in wrestling. I didn't know what it was. I thought I could be a referee. It was an idea in my mind. I'd like to pursue it, but I just wanted to talk to somebody that's been in the business. I didn't know who. How do you get into this? I have no idea. And we agreed that it was something that I could pursue, but with family still taking priority. So she was like, I went to high school with a guy who used to wrestle. I'm going to contact him and connect you guys. And his name was Tom, and that was the start of my progression into the business. He got me in contact with Dynamo Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
After, hey Tom, I'm, can you help me figure out how to even talk to somebody that runs a wrestling company? He did. He got me in touch with Jim, the owner of Dynamo, and I went to my very first indie show was the summer of 2019, and he asked me to hold the camera for him. So I did.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So it wasn't I want to get up in the ring and be a professional wrestler. From the very beginning, you wanted to be more of a referee?
Correct. I was told that I'm unique in that regard because I still have this idea that if I was to wrestle, there's always that fear of getting hurt. And when me and my wife had that initial conversation, it was, what if you get hurt doing this and you can't? I mean, what if the worst happens, right?
Sure.
Yeah, we need you here. So it was, let's pursue this referee thing. That feels safer. And I thought I could do it, and I thought I could do it well.
But then again, you step out nowadays.
Right.
You step out the door, you cross the street, you can get hit in the road by an idiot.
Right.
So anything really can happen.
Well, my son wants to be a tag team with me when he gets older, so who knows?
We could have another second coming of Diamond Dallas Page in the form of HT Daniels in a few years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So you get in, you get over to Dynamo Pro.
Yep.
And was at the very first, when you started first training and learning the business and learning how to do things, was it what you expected it was going to be? Was it harder than what you expected it to be, or was it easier than what you expected it to be?
Training as a referee, I would say, was about what I expected it to be. Being a wrestling fan as long as I had been at that point, I've been watching referees. I know their mannerisms in the ring. I just have to learn how to make that mine. And the second I stepped into a ring, I was so excited to be there, just to say that I did this one time. It was, like it felt like a dream come true the second I went to training and just stepped in that ring. I was like, this is it.
Well, I know for me, and I'm saying this because I'm going to form it into a question for you. Growing up, going through those teen years, getting into the military, doing all that sort of thing, there was always this feeling that I was missing something.
That's what I had.
And like a hole that I needed to fill, and I knew what it was. I personally knew what it was, and I had to figure some way, somehow, to get into it. Was that the same type of thing for you growing up, going through your 20s?
Yeah, it was 100%, because, like I said, I was going to have 2 kids. We had the house, we had the marriage, I had the job. But something's missing. And that seems like a little selfish to say out loud, to be honest, but it's just like something is missing.
But it's the truth.
It's the truth, yeah. And, I did this wrestling thing. I had to try it.
So now that you are a bona fide, certified, referee in the industry, and have gotten to do so many different things, and we're going to get to some of those things, do you feel... what is the right word for it? Do you feel fulfilled now in your life being having the marriage, having the kids, having the career outside, the civilian career, we'll call it.
Yeah.
But now also in the wrestling industry, having that fulfillment feeling.
I would say yes, with the caveat that I still have the desire for more. I would say after I did the NWA World's Championship match at Night of Champions, after that was over and the nerves were settled, if I was done, I can say I did that.
Right.
I did an NWA title match. I held the belt up in the air that all the greats held.
Right.
And that meant, I told Leland Race this before I went out, that meant so much to me. So much, just to do it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. That's probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that's probably your biggest moment in your wrestling career, in your referee career, is holding that NWA championship that goes back so far, and holding it at a time where it's trying to be brought back to prominence, and having it, quote unquote, at our house.
Yes.
What was going through your mind leading up to that point, and then when you were in the ring with that championship belt?
What was going through my mind was, don't be the one that messes up this match. You can let the other two do it, but you don't be the one that does it. At that point in my career, there were the nerves, but it was the good nerves. It wasn't, I'm so nervous that I know I'm going to mess up. It was, I am so excited to do this. That, and you're right, that was the most high-profile match that I've ever had, just because the belt was there. And someone like EC3 and Superstar Steve, who have the legacies that they do, globally and locally.
For sure.
Yeah. Another one that comes to mind is when I did an OVW title match on television in Louisville. That was a big moment for me. Big title change down there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've had some pretty big moments that you never would have thought were going to happen.
Correct.
Would you say though that NWA championship moment is the biggest? That is your biggest moment so far?
I think it has to be. I've had other events that are big. Fort Leonard Wood was a big event.
Yeah.
The first time I did a show at the pageant, which I thought was really cool. I was like, man, this is like really awesome. I just even get to be here. But to participate in a match of the caliber of NWA world title was, I honestly never thought I would have that opportunity.
So I've got to ask you about that, because so with the pageant, I've been there for like El Monstero's concert there, and different things like that, but never for a wrestling wrestling event. What was that like?
The wrestling ring was down in the pit. It wasn't on the stage, and I heard from fans in attendance that it was really hard to look down over the balcony down into the pit and watch a wrestling show. But the atmosphere was really cool. That was with Glory Pro that I did that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Do you ever get caught up in the chants and start laughing at what the people are saying around the ring?
Like when they start yelling at the ref and stuff?
Yeah.
I try to ignore it as best as I can. Sometimes it gets to me, but I try not to acknowledge it. Yeah.
So I got to ask you.
Yeah.
In some people's minds, it's this way. In other people's minds, it's a completely different thing. But with being a referee, should that referee, and again, I'm getting to a point here, so bear with me.
Yeah.
Should a referee be, quote unquote, hidden, invisible, until those right moments, 1, 2, 3, 4, get out of the corner, blah, blah, blah? Or should they be a part of everything that is going on? The reason I ask this is because with AEW and a few others that are out there as well, you can see them. And I'll say her name, Aubrey Edwards.
Yeah.
The way that she's really toned things down. She has. So I don't know if somebody has gotten to her, talked to her. She just saw, well, maybe I'm doing this wrong. I need to switch things around. Because she was getting a lot of backlash for all the hoopla that she was doing. Do you think that referees should be quiet, I guess is a good word for it, during a match, or should they be right in there with the performers?
It's hard for me to criticize a referee who's on television like an Aubrey or a Bryce Grinsberg or a Paul Turner. They're at places that I may never see. They're there, I'm not. It's hard for me in what I do to criticize them whatsoever. They have success that I don't have. The way that I look at a referee in general, though, it's not about me, but the culmination of this story, whatever these wrestlers are having, involves a wrestling match. You can't have a wrestling match without the referee, but it's not about the referee. However, the referee helps facilitate that story.
Mm-hmm.
If the bad guy needs to prove that he's a bad guy, the referee can help. The referee can help the babyface, depending on the situation, help him get more sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
Every match can have a little bit of difference in it.
Sure. I gotta ask you, and I'm sure that you have, but you never know. Some people don't.
Yeah.
When they knock you around.
Yeah.
When a heel, a bad guy, however you want to call them, kicks you in the face by accident, of course, or even the good guy doing something, and boom, you're right there and you get knocked down. What's your thought process when all that is going on, as far as trying to keep the fluidity of the match going?
I think I want to answer this carefully. I have a role to play in that incident. Something happened to me, and the events that happen after that depend on my ability to handle that situation and my reaction to it, and when it comes again for my time to act accordingly.
Well, the reason I ask that is because it seems to me that you referees have a lot of constraint. Because if it were me getting knocked down by either one of them or whomever is doing it, I'm going to be, maybe not right away, but I'm getting back up with a little bit of vigor in my step.
Are you going to do that when Camaro Jackson clotheslines you in the middle of the ring?
You know what? Like I said, maybe not right then, right away, but in the back of my head, I'm like, revenge. Revenge is coming type thing.
So my role is to be, an official for whatever promotion
right down the middle
that I'm working with. I have expectations that are required of me, and I can't, maybe there are thoughts of revenge, but the thoughts of I'm hurt now and I need to get back to business as quickly as possible is what is required of me.
For sure. Because we've also seen referees do that sort of thing, quote unquote, getting back at a wrestler. Like, for example, way back in the day in the WWE, Danny Davis. He was a referee. Some things happened, and he, quote unquote, turned and turned on some people.
If it's not required of me to have a, we'll say, character like that, then I'm going to do what I do.
Very cool. Super fan.
So, do you ever slow count? You keep your beats pretty much the same every single time?
I keep them as consistent as possible.
That's the right answer.
It's called cadence. To keep my cadence.
That's right. Hey, well, we are up against our last break of this show on Uncensored Wrestling Talk. But when we come back, we're going to jump more into this with H.D. Daniels, and also, of course, joined here with the superfan Tim Williams. I am Sarge, and we will see you on the other side of the break.
People are talking about Don Julio's Mexican restaurant in the Winfield Plaza and Don Julio's Taco Express at number 3 Troy Center, setting the standard for authentic Mexican food and great drinks. Carry out or dine in 7 days a week at both great locations. Stop in or order online for carryout at DonJuliosWinfield.com or DonJuliosTroy.com. Don Julio's Mexican Restaurant in the Winfield Plaza and Don Julio's Taco Express at number 3 Troy Center. And don't forget, buy one, get one free on Wednesday in Troy and on Monday in Winfield. That's Don Julio's Mexican Restaurant in the Winfield Plaza and Don Julio's Taco Express at number 3 Troy Center. Veteran owned and operated. Bringing great authentic Mexican food home to Lincoln County. Hasta pronto!
Trust the professionals at Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions. Buying or selling, they'll make your dreams come true. Here's commercial property and development expert Rick Meyer.
Oh, it's been a great family business. My dad started the company, and we have been in business a long time. And really what keeps us in business, I think, is just working with our good customers and clients and the relationships that we're able to build. It's really important to us, our agents, to build that relationship, but provide the service to this your local community.
We are the #1 stop in the region for buying and selling residential, commercial, and farm real estate. We've been serving the area for more than 40 years, and we do it with pride.
You can reach us at and look at all our properties at MeyerListings.com. You can also call us at 636-462-5555.
Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, North Lincoln Drive in Troy, 636-462-5555. Online at MeyerListings.com.
This August, Seidenberger Nobe Partners is offering discounts to keep all your equipment running smoothly. You can save on oil and filters, plus enjoy 15% off thousands of parts for your John Deere compact tractor. It's time to stock up and save. Don't miss out on these limited time offers. Visit snpartners.com for more details. Seidenberger Nobe, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 8/31/2024. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 67 overnight tonight. Monday's high will be in the lower 100s, light rain likely. Temperatures in the mid 100s forecast on Tuesday. Currently in Troy it's 85. In Wentzville it's 84 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Well, welcome back to Uncensored Wrestling Talk right here on News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO in the new Gateway Fiber Studio. Of course, you can watch us on the KYRO Facebook, the Traveling East Productions Facebook page, and YouTube. Go like and subscribe. And, of course, on Uncensored Wrestling Talk's Facebook page, the video portion of this broadcast brought to you by Traveling East Productions, sponsored by Elliott Flooring, Safe Harbor Insurance in Winfield, Black Flag Outfitters, and of course our sponsor for Uncensored Wrestling Talk, World League Wrestling, the house that Harley Race built. Next event September the 7th. We've gone over a couple of the matches that have been announced already. Get your tickets now. Don't wait. Please don't wait, because if you show up the day of thinking, I'm going to be able to get tickets, you just might get turned away at the door.
They will get turned away at the door. Absolutely.
Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
Guaranteed.
It's going to sell out. It's going to be hot. Everybody's going to be screaming and yelling and having a great old time. Best place to be on a Saturday night, at the World League Wrestling event.
That's right. No matter where it is.
Exactly.
But especially in Troy at the Race Wrestling Arena. And, this second hour, having this interview with H.D. Daniels has been so very cool to have him here and talking wrestling with us. And again, thank you, H.D., for coming in and taking the time, because I know, even as a referee, your schedule is very, very busy. You've got a very busy schedule. Now, one of the things that I did want to ask you on air about, because we were talking about, having big moments, and everything like that. With the NWA, they just had an event this past week on Wednesday down at the Hollywood Amphitheater with Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan, of course, the owner of the NWA, along with another band. But having wrestling matches during a concert before and in between sets, I guess you call them. What was that like? What was your thoughts on all of that?
That was an experience I never thought that I would get to have. It was one of those unexpected things that came to me, and I said yes immediately.
Mm-hmm.
The rock crowd did not expect to see wrestling there, and I think especially after the second band or the first band was done before the Pumpkins went on, the sun was going down, and the crowd really just bought into what we were doing. They really enjoyed it.
So did it take for those first few matches that was going on, and I'm guessing those were happening before any of the music?
Yeah, we had a set of matches around the time that the gates opened and fans were piling into the arena.
Okay.
They're getting their drinks and their food and waiting for the opening act to come on, and they just kind of stumble on this wrestling show, and then we, in their minds, we weren't expecting this. What is this? Let's go check this out. Let's see what's going on. It took a minute for them to warm up, a match or two, but then they were like, oh, okay, we understand what's going on. We're just a little bit of entertainment before we see this first band.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, because I've heard that type of reaction at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Several times, because the NWA has done this a few times now.
Yeah.
But fans having a little bit of a, I guess, reservation or whatever you want to call it. There's a warm-up period to it. Do you think that this is something that can continue on and gain more momentum, or is it one of those things that it's just okay, it's there type thing? You know what I mean?
Well, I hope it happens more often and gains more momentum. I think the reality of it is that wrestling will always have that stigma about it, that bad reputation. Oh, this is wrestling. It's, the F word.
Mm-hmm.
And when non-fans encounter it and it's right in front of their faces, they're very skeptical at first of what is this wrestling thing like.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's right in front of me, and I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to be critical of it.
Well, I think another thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of your music fans, a lot of your Smashing Pumpkins fans, and it's weird to me, but a lot of them don't realize that, Billy Corgan is the owner of the NWA.
It's surprising how many people don't know that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And we've got a comment on the Facebook page from Sherry Harley, and she says, "Don't forget about the tailgating." And you're absolutely correct, Mrs. Harley. At the September 7th event, there is going to be tailgate going on, and there is no tailgate party like a tailgate party at WLW. Those are so much fun. I would say you might want to get there around about 3 o'clock or so if you want to partake in that. And I've heard that there's going to be a raffle going on that you can get tickets for during that tailgate party. And, of course, after the doors open. But for Monday Night Raw, NXT coming to town very, very soon. So back to you, HD, though. I hope that this music and wrestling connection thing gets bigger. But for me, I guess, and I want to know what your thoughts are on it as well. I don't want, as a wrestling fan, I don't want the music to overshadow the wrestling.
So, as a wrestling fan myself, what I would like to see is a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand, at this point, Smashing Pumpkins are bigger than a wrestling match.
Sure.
So you have
maybe
we hope that they're depending on your perspective.
Exactly,
I suppose.
and depending on who's in the matches.
Right. I would like to see a 50-50 partnership if you have a rock and wrestling show, because it should be about both.
But do you think that it's a viable thing to continue on and be able to grow?
Why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. So back to your early days though. Dynamo Pro, because we've only got about 9 minutes left on the show. You started with Dynamo Pro. How many organizations have you actually gotten to referee for now?
I may have lost count, but
that many. Wow.
Dynamo Pro. I went from Dynamo Pro to MMWA. I did Pro Wrestling Epic here and there in between there. Found World League Wrestling. I had a stint in OVW for a while. I have some new ones coming up in September. I'll be at Show Me State Wrestling. Another one called Pro Wrestling Now in Petersburg, Illinois. A new kind of startup company. I had one fall through that was supposed to happen yesterday out in Illinois somewhere. So I'm open to any and all possibilities to work on my craft.
That's very, very cool. That's very cool. Some of your other big moments that you have seen, maybe not so much as refereeing, but that you've gotten to see.
On the independents? Being a part, I would say like big venues is what sticks out to me. So I was part of a show at the Chaffetz Arena with Dynamo Pro. That was an opportunity I never thought that I would have.
Wow.
They had a festival there and they wanted wrestling, so there were thousands of people, eating out of the food trucks and watching wrestling. At the pageant, that was another one. Just being there, just the atmosphere of a show like that. Hollywood Casino, that was another venue. Just like, wow, I can't believe I'm here doing this. The Davis Arena in Louisville is another one. Just my opportunities to be a part of these events is what's going to stick with me long term.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that, and this is me personally, because I've seen you at many events now over the last couple of years, especially with World League Wrestling. And if the NWA comes back to town again for one of their anniversary shows, and they did 73, 74, and 75, and 74 and 75, WLW having a huge hand in all of that. You absolutely deserve.
Oh, thank you.
And have earned, and a lot of people, that's thrown around, I think, almost too much now. But in this particular case, it really fits. You deserve and you earn to be a part of being a referee for those type of shows. And I wish you all the best of luck in the future with everything. And of course, with our guys and gals there at WLW, some of these kids are wow, next day superstars, next generations, I guess, superstars in the world of professional wrestling that we're gonna see up on the main stage, up on in the big time, as you could say, WWE, AEW, New Japan. Some of the guys that you have seen, who do you think has that potential of just jumping on that train?
Given the right, I think they're just waiting for the right connection or the right exposure. Camaro Jackson comes to my mind first.
Yeah,
I mean, he's wrestled on Ring of Honor already. He's close. He's wrestled at NWA. He's very close. And I can't wait for the day to come for him. Someone like Raheem.
Yes.
Raheem matches are very hard for me to keep a straight face because I'm
Raheem doing Raheem things.
Raheem doing Raheem things is one of my favorite things, and I have to stand back, and he makes me do this thing where I rip his jacket off. I'm like, you're gonna make me laugh. I can't do this right now.
Well, that is we came up with that phrase, and I'm gonna keep it for the rest of my life anyway. On World League Wrestling Showdown, which you can see on YouTube on World League Wrestling's Facebook page and like 16, 17 TV stations throughout the country. My broadcast partner, Martin Kadich, and myself came up with that Raheem doing Raheem things quote, and it's true. He does some of the craziest, wildest things that just makes you laugh, but also at the same time makes you just want to slap him upside the head, right?
100%. Yeah. Can't forget about Moses. I don't think
the deliverer Moses.
Yeah.
Only, and believe it or not, 25 years coming up for World League Wrestling. Only the second person in company history to be a Triple Crown winner. And that's being the WOW Heavyweight Champion, a Tag Team Champion, and the Junior Heavyweight Championship. Wow. What?
Yeah, can't be impressed, right?
Exactly.
Can't be not impressed.
Can't be not impressed. Yeah. Also, I think she's got... She did the referee for like 4 years.
Yeah.
Was a referee for 4 years. The one and only Skylar Sparks is really starting to step things up. And I think that's another one that has all the potential in the world.
She's stepping up her aggression in the ring and outside of the ring.
And outside of the ring, yes, for sure. Because we can talk about that because it's already been played, it's already been shown. This rivalry that she's got with Tootie Lynn, it could be one of the best rivalries in the St. Louis area in a very, very, very long time.
Yeah. I know Skylar personally, so she's teetering on this aggression, and if she takes it one step too far, I hope it's not one step too far.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that, and I do as well. Having the interviews with her in the back and seeing her progression, you're right. She has gotten more aggressive in different aspects, and it could spell some bad things for the others that want to step up to her, basically.
Definitely, yes.
But she has gone on record saying that this ladies division in WLW that she has helped usher back in, it's hers. And I think that it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting in the next couple of months to see what goes on in the story of Skylar Sparks. Superfan?
Yeah, personally, I'm happy she's got a chip on her shoulder. She needs it. So, whenever they meet again, she's going to take Tootie down.
It could happen. It could happen. She's got to beat her first, I think, to get that championship match. And that's just my thought process on it. But,
right.
We're going to see what happens. We've got about 20 seconds left. H.D. Daniels, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate you. Superfan, we will definitely see you next weekend. I am Sarge. This is Uncensored Wrestling Talk. But until next Sunday, even today, right now, you know what you can do? Go watch some wrestling.
Live from the Gateway Fiber Studios, online at gatewayfiber.com. News Radio 105.3, 1280 KYRO Troy. It's 12 o'clock in the Heartland.
NASCAR is back in the Brew City today, and the action begins with ARCA competition at the Milwaukee Mile. This season primarily has been about two competitors, Connor Zilic and William Sawalich, and one of them happens to be today's defending winner.
Comfortable margin at the front of the field for William Sawalich. Opens it up about 5 car lengths a lap and call it half the length of the back straightaway. Back to Jesse Love in second. William Sawalich leads into turn 3 and 4 for the final time.
Absolutely a dominant afternoon for William Sawalich, 16 years of age, and he is going to win it here at the Milwaukee Mile.
Even though Sawalich dominated this event last year, he'll need another flawless afternoon if he wants to erase the 22-point deficit he faces to Zilic in the ARCA Menard Series East standings with just 2 races to go. In regard to the premier ARCA Menard Series, Andres Perez has paced the pack for most of 2024, but has yet to find victory lane. And he's not alone. None of the full-time full-time competitors has claimed a checkered flag this season. Other drivers in today's event include Gio Ruggiero, who hopes to give legendary Venturini Motorsports its first ever Milwaukee victory. And there are a number of drivers who will be pulling double duty today, with plans to compete in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action later this afternoon. Will a new name emerge, or will the duo of Zilich and Sawalich continue to steal the show? We're about to find out. Live from the Milwaukee Mile, the ARCA Menard Series and ARCA Menard Series East present the Sprecher 150, exclusively on the Motor Racing Network.
Live on the Motor Racing Network, it's the ARCA Menard Series.
Get a big thumbs up. Get ready to rock and roll past the race cars today, pal. Go boys, let's execute. Have a good day.
Today, the Liuna 175 from the Milwaukee Mile. Brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reese's, not sorry. By Sioux Chief, America's manufacturer of plumbing, drainage, supply, and support products. Available at Menards. By Procter & Gamble's Bounty brand. Proud sponsor of the ARCA Menard Series Bounty Rookie Challenge Rookie of the Year Award. Bounty. Available at Menards. By Richmond Water Heaters. The water heater experts. By Menards. Save big money at Menards. And by Sunoco. From NASCAR to your car, Sunoco Fuel helps your car reach peak performance.
With sunny skies and temperatures climbing into the mid-80s, the ARCA Menard Series and ARCA Menard Series East are in West Allis, Wisconsin, ready to run a combination race at Wisconsin State Fair Park. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Motor Racing Network's live coverage of the Sprecher 150. I'm Kurt Becker. Alongside is Dan Hubbard. And Dan, the Milwaukee Mile provides an historic setting for racing today.
The Milwaukee Mile is the oldest operating motorsports facility in the world, hosting automobile races since 1903. And it's hosted all the major sanctioning bodies as well, from IndyCar to NASCAR, as well as USAC, ASA, and a lot more. And all the great drivers have run and won here. Barney Oldfield, AJ Foyt, the Uncers, the Andrettis, Rusty Wallace, Matt Kenseth, too many to mention really. And today, ARCA drivers will be competing to add their name to the victors list at this fabled and legendary track.
The season is nearing a conclusion for the ARCA Menard Series East. Two drivers in particular likely to be the focus of attention throughout this upcoming race.
This is round 15 of a 20-race season, and the two drivers you speak of are Connor Zilich and William Sawalich. Both are teenagers. Both have the lion's share of victories this year, and both are competing for a championship in the ARCA Menard Series East. Zilich is your points leader in that series with a 22-point advantage over Sawalich in second. And whenever these guys race together, Kurt, it is a serious scramble, usually for the lead. This is going to be a fun one to watch.
And this all kicks off an MRN doubleheader. Later today, we will have playoff coverage for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Our coverage of the Liuna 175 scheduled to come your way at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're going to talk doubleheader day of racing, Dan, you couldn't ask for a better day to do it.
If I could steal a line from the great Ernie Banks, the Chicago Cub player, he said, "It's a beautiful day. Let's play two." We're going to do that today. Now, it might be a little bit on the hot side. Temperatures going to kind of encroach around the 90-degree area somewhere in there. That is hot, short-sleeve weather for sure. But yes, we're going to have the ARCA race here first, and then the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race around 2:30 or around 3 o'clock later today.
It is indeed our pleasure to bring you live coverage of both of these events here this afternoon from the Upper Midwest. Great to have you with us for this Sunday doubleheader card of racing. And again, the ARCA Menard Series and ARCA Menard Series East will get us started. 150 laps. There will be a break at lap number 75. But before any of that can happen, we need to go trackside right now. We'll be heading trackside in just a moment for pre-race ceremonies, as right now the drivers have reported to their cars, and we'll be getting the command to fire the engines here momentarily. And there it is. Took a while to get it out, but you know what? We'll never blame someone for enthusiasm.
I might make that my ringtone. I'm not sure.
Absolutely. Great way to get us started. We're just about set for the green flag.
You always knew Dawn dishwashing liquid was tough on greasy dishes. But did you know Dawn is tough on dirt and grease in the garage and workshop? Dawn powers away dirt and grime on tires and wheels, degreases tools and parts, removes stubborn grease and oil stains on clothes. Plus, Dawn is gentle on painted surfaces and gentle on your hands. Save on Dawn dishwashing liquid and more at your nearest Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Relive the thrills of over 50 years of NASCAR racing with the Motor Racing Network's Classic Race.
36th Annual Southern 500. They come down to the start-finish line. Bill Elliott and David Pearson get down.
We dig into the MRN audio vault for unforgettable races and moments.
Dale Jarrett's got the lead. Earnhardt's not going to get him. Dale Jarrett is going to win the Daytona 500.
Available on MRN.com and podcast platform.
Fallon Kowicki out of turn number 4, the new Winston Cup champion. He does it across the line.
MRN Classic Races.
We'll give you the starting lineup next from the Milwaukee Mile. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Trust the professionals at Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions. Buying or selling, they'll make your dreams come true. Here's commercial property and development expert Rick Meyer.
Oh, it's been a great family business. My dad started the company, and we have been in business a long time. And really what keeps us in business, I think, is just working with our good customers and clients and the relationships that we're able to build. It's really important to us, our agents, to build that relationship, but provide the service to this your local community.
We are the #1 stop in the region for buying and selling residential, commercial, and farm real estate. We've been serving the area for more than 40 years, and we do it with pride.
You can reach us at and look at all our properties at MeyerListings.com. You can also call us at 636-462-5555.
Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, North Lincoln Drive in Troy, 636-462-5555. Online at MeyerListings.com.
NASCAR on the radio.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Ooh, let's go racing today, boys.
News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 KYRO.
Now, here's the starting lineup.
Cars beginning to roll for the first of their parade and pace lap. Starting from the 24th position today in Milwaukee will be Brian Clubb. The 23rd starter is Rita Goulet. Tony Breidinger qualified in the 22nd spot. And out of Lafayette, Ohio, Nate Muller starts 21st.
Rolling off 20th, you'll find Brad Smith. Alex Clubb qualified 19th. Ryan Roulette will start from the 18th spot, but he will go to the back for unapproved changes. Tyler Tomasi will start 17th. Qualifying 16th, D.L. Wilson. Zachary Tinkle will start 15th. Rolling off from the 14th spot, Andrew Patterson, although he too will go to the back. Michael Maples will start off in the 13th position. Qualifying 12th, you find Cody Dennison with Marco Andretti qualifying 11th.
Take a look at the top 10. Out of Martinsburg, West Virginia, Christian Rose starts 10th. Amber Balkin starting 9th. LeVar Scott qualified 8th. He drops to the back for unapproved adjustments to the car. Chris Wright will start 7th. The 6th starter, Dean Thompson, starting 5th is Gio Ruggiero. 4th starter, Andres Perez. The 3rd starter is Lawless Allen. Field is getting the signal. One more lap, they'll go under the green flag. On the front row today, Connor Zilich. He starts 2nd, and on the pole, and breaking his own track record here at Milwaukee, William Sawalich, 29.002 seconds for one lap around this 1 mile layout, 124.129 miles per hour.
I'll tell you what, Kurt Becker, I am looking forward to this because on the front row, we have the two guys running 1 and 2 in the ARCA Menards Series East, and only 22 points separating them, and these two have gone at it all year long. They're always racing around each other. Right now, Zilich has the advantage over Sawalich. Why? Because he's beaten him 3 times during this year. He beat him at Dover, he beat him at IRP, and I'm forgetting the second track right now, but 3 times. 3 times he has beaten him. So William Sawalich is a very motivated driver behind that wheel, and perhaps that's what helped him set a brand new